market. HFR from the matrix, from the floor, from Earth. There it is, HFR. Mistrade Matt debut that don't. Matt, I love the fact that you're wearing that Rub Me. Got a couple things to share here on the Rub Me side of things. First of all, you, I say you literally and figuratively, because there's a man behind the curtain at Market Vitals, and you shared this, or Market Vitals shared this. Angelina Jolie teaches children how to eat bugs, scorpions, and spiders. The trick, Matt, I guess she says, is start with crickets, and then you move up to tarantulas. And man, when I watched it, I got
there's no way I would have done what any of those kids or she did there. I would be on a forced diet. I would eat the grass. I would eat the grass. I would eat the grass. I would eat the.
I love lemongrass soup, by the way.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. She says right in it, is that in times of war, like, okay, well, we're not. Joe said it the other day.
Yeah,
right?
We're in war.
At time of war, like, again, man, I need to be manning the recycling booth for aluminum and rubber. And I said it yesterday, Matt, rubbed some shrimp, made the polenta, and shrimp and grits, Matt, or as you Itais had to rename it, polenta. Grits didn't go so well in northern Italy.
No. My dad loved polenta, by the way. I saw some at Trader Joe's the other day, and I was just like,
dude, let me just tell you something. Buy the Bob's Red Mill polenta.
Yeah, I think that's what they had.
It is so bulletproof. I know it's carbs, so you can't do this on a daily basis, but the Cajun shrimp in the polenta, and I went with a little cheddar, a little mozzarella cheese in there, a little butter. Oh, so ridiculous. That's all there is to it. It's unreal.
So ridiculous.
Matt, I know you love technical trading, and you shared this one. Avalanche won in 96, Red Wings win in 97, Avalanche win in 2001, Red Wings win in 2002. Is that right?
Yeah. I figured, why not? I made the call yesterday, so here's another reason why to buy the Red Wings futures for the 2023 campaign. Why not? Why wouldn't they win?
It's been, I got to tell you,
it's happened twice before for the Quebec Nordiques. I mean,
I saw another
Colorado Avalanche. I mean,
I'm freaking out.
What?
My system seems to be freaking, and as long as you're not seeing it, I'm okay with it.
I didn't see it. Did you have a Tubin moment?
Beautiful.
Did you have a Tubin moment?
Listen, I know how to get away with it. Jeffrey didn't. Man, I wanted to talk about Jason Whitlock and his refusal to engage with one of the best tweets I've ever come up with. Jason, please. He, like you and me, Matt, struggles with added weight.
But he's lost a ton over the last year. I know
he has unwanted weight, and he's doing great, right? But he tweeted yesterday, Stairmaster makes me sweat harder and elevates my heart rate higher. Rowing machine makes me much more sore post-workout. Which exercise do you think is best for me in terms of weight loss? And I said, discipline. Yeah. How about you exercise a little discipline and put the fucking pork chop down? I don't know. There was an old movie called the Incredible Colossal Man or something. Like, he got radiated. Did you ever see that as a kid? No. It might have even been black and white. And he grew to like 30 feet tall, 50 feet tall, the Colossal Man. And at the end, his girlfriend is saying, "Put the bus down, Glenn." He's got a whole bus of school children. That's how I feel about sometimes when I'm trying to have discipline in my weight loss regimen, which mostly is about calories in, Matt.
Well, and even more so, again, I think it comes down to what those calories are, not so much how much. In other words, 500 calories of Twinkies versus 500 calories of lean chicken.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Big
I mean, you can count calories, but you're going to be awfully hungry with those 500 calories of Twinkies versus 500 calories of lean meat, right?
Hey Matt, I wanted to just follow up from yesterday's discussion, and you shared this again. You know, sometimes you see something and then other things pop up, and the two things happened here. You shared this inside the network Substack from Chris Walderberg. Fertility collapses across the developed world. My brother watched the show yesterday, and so he Googled the population thing in Germany, and the Google was supplying him with much different information.
Well, did he try your Swiss cows or one of these others?
I don't know, but then you shared this, and it appears to be everywhere in the developed world, Matt. Yeah. Taiwan, 23% drop. Germany, that's what we covered yesterday.
Netherlands, Switzerland. And then right there, hold on, go back, because they talk about right there. Nations like Italy, Korea, Spain, Ukraine are all disappearing. They were disappearing before this started, right?
Just disappearing.
Meaning they're not recreating the young people. The young people are leaving. They're going to the UK, or they're going to the US or Canada, anywhere where there's jobs, because there's no jobs in Europe, and there's really no jobs in South Korea if you're not involved with the phone and the semiconductor business. Spain, same thing. They're just on siesta all the time. And Ukraine.
Well, the bigger problem, man,
and Japan is, Japan's a racist nation, so they don't let anybody in. And I mean, it's a tip. And the US is also top heavy, right? We got the boomers, and below our generation, these kids don't want kids. They all want to either avoid them or abort them. Seems to be the thing. And none of them want to work. So why would they have kids? At least they're responsible, in that they're broke and living on their own, but they don't want to work. So that's where we are.
Matt,
then you add in the jabs. I'm just saying, there may be a correlation there. Maybe somebody should dig into it. I don't know, Bob.
I don't know this, but China, speaking of population, and a seemingly impossible demographic as the one-child policy fully rearing its head. But Jedi Marcus points out the FXI tries to take out April 22 highs. I looked at the chart and had the S word in my mouth ready to come out. Why don't you bring it up and let's look at it, because honestly, you can't underestimate the power of China. And I got another thing to share with you on China. But maybe if they come out of ridiculous lockdown, things get better all over the place.
Maybe not. I'm not bullish China. Nothing's changed.
All right.
Well, but it's a nice little, $8 bounce off of 26 again. But I mean, is it going to get over 38 to 42?
No, that's the level that's just.
It's hanging.
That's like the 85 bear defense right there, Matt. That's
well. And then if you fractal out, Bob, and you start looking at, kind of where this thing, and this is just an ETF, right? So this is again a composite of a lot of junky names to begin with that shouldn't even be trading, because that's what most of. If you think our books and accounting is bad in the US, well, China's a different level. It is a completely different level. So it's fraught with risk buying stocks. And you can see this, look at this, like triple top 54. So we got halved, and, just getting into value here at 34. So I guess, again, if the world suddenly finds peace,
yeah, exactly.
If the world finds peace, we reduce the inflation from 25% is about what it is across the board, not 8, not 9, but about 25 when you include in healthcare, food, education, etc. Give me a break. Oil at 112 again today. Interest rates at 6.5 for 10-year. This is not the beginning of a bear or bull market, people. It's still the end of, and it takes time for those that are still buying at the top and still buying this dip, as we talk about all the time. We're on sale. doesn't mean you can't get further on sale.
Exactly.
Right.
Ed Zachary. Interesting. You mentioned a couple things there. Well, we'll get to that in a second here. Let me show one more thing here on China, because this tells me also
China.
Let me tell you about China, that they're loosening up. They must be loosening up somewhat. Either that or they have a resurgence of ASF, African swine fever. This is N5 pennies, great hog analysis. And this is Chinese hog prices year over year up 11%, month over month up 22%, week over week up 14%, one day up 6% nearly. You can see that chart has fully turned up parabolic. So something's going on in China for their demand for pork. What that means for us is that, they are very cognizant of inflation too, especially around food. So if this truly is demand driven and they don't have the population, the imports in the US or of US pork should be fully left-sided. And he also pointed out here too that somebody in South Korea must be paying attention because they've been buying into 2023 for 2 weeks now. Anyway, Matt, the hog looked like it had put in a top. Why don't you look at HEQ, and I want to talk about some nuance around this complex myself. Once you just look at HEQ, bring it up.
HEQ
2022. HEQ 2022.
Yeah, hang on one second. I haven't.
But again, I mean that's a little nuance on China. Believe me, nobody's having a picnic unless you're out of lockdown there. So I'm not sure what it means.
Do they have picnic? Is picnics a thing in China?
I have no idea. I'm not going to the Jolie picnic. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that's why Brad Pitt left too, because he was tired of the bugs.
And by the way, I said, and I'll continue to ask Disney, like, how do you promote A Bug's Life when she's eating them?
So here's the lean hogs.
Thank you, Lee. Picnics happen in Japan. Picnics do happen in Japan. I mean, in China, Japan. All right. How come we're not getting a profile on this? Slowly loading. No.
Yeah, there it is. Stuck in value. Make a bet. Again, bracketeering 100 to 110. Breakout one way or the other. Looks good to me. There you go.
All right. And play the
bracket analysis.
Bracket analysis. Better than. All right. Let me share, because again, you see a news item like that, and I know I've talked about this one before, and I continue to be patient and watch. And that is the DSFEB hog spread, a great calendar spread to trade. And if you get some, I would love to see some explosive strength in Dees hogs and get this spread back into around $2. Dees $2 under Feb, because in generally speaking, it will head right back out to that $6-7 level. So that's what I'm looking for that. I like playing hog calendar spreads when I play the hogs. A couple of them in particular that I pointed out before, the June-July hog spread was a beautiful trade this year. And this is another one that's always on my radar. DSFEB hogs, it got into that $1.50, near $1.50 earlier in the year. Great place to put it on. I would love to see explosive strength in Dees, get this thing back up towards those levels and put that on DSFEB hogs as a hog calendar spread.
Every time you say DSFEB, I think of D's nuts or D's balls or,
These idiots.
These idiots.
All right, Matt, hold on. I do that for. Got to go here. Broadcaster. Matt.
Yes.
This just in. We got we have a delay, Matt, in the jobs report as Friday. Definitely Friday is the 1st, and they're going to push it back to the 8th on our non-farm payrolls.
Christmas in July, Bob. Christmas.
But the long view, he shared this, and it's tech layoffs. And just like I did in the population I like jumping around in the chart. I mean, it's not giant, 19,434. Obviously, the size of the U.S. workforce, that's a blip. It's not even, but you have to pay attention to the trend, Matt. How could you not pay attention to the trend?
Well, I've been watching, and that's a great chart. That's not huge. I mean, those aren't huge numbers, but that's what is that? That's 60,000 since the first of the year. That's 60,000 people that were making, let's say, 100 plus, right? So those are some types of engineers. Businesses slowed down. You see Tesla's a big one of those, as they laid off like 10, didn't they? So I mean, it makes sense. And there's only going to be more, especially like a lot of these startups, maybe again, once the money starts leaning out and they need money again, they go to the market. There's no market for a third, fourth, fifth, financing, because most of these companies don't make money, right? So they need money continuously to feed the pump. And that cycle will continue. And again, this generation, and I'm just talking about people that have been trading Bitcoin since it came out for 10 years, right? That individual thinks that everything is on sale right now. And that individual thinks everything's on sale because we're half off or 80% off where we went in COVID. Yet we're still not below the lows in COVID. And we're still, in most instances, and we're still not below, the key levels. So one of the things I was looking at this morning, two things really. Apple, my story kind of changes and Apple's a key one for me. If it kind of gets over this level right here, Bob, 146 or so, you start getting into value zone. But it ran out of steam here. 143 was another sub level. So these were bigger levels. I'm not involved. I wish I would have sold it. I did sell some Microsoft yesterday, and that's paying off very nicely. And I'll touch on that here in a minute. But Apple, I was seeking a little bit higher entry, and I just, this is what happens when you get cute and you try to get perfect. That's why sometimes you just have to sell options out of the money, just to at least be in a little bit, because that's the price I want to sell anyway. So if I would have sold 150 options, yesterday I might have been able to get a buck or two, a month or two out. So that wouldn't have been a bad play, right? But I did not do that. So you can see this is rolling over hard today, 2%, which is the rest of the market, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we talked, Matt, about the end of the month into the quarter bump. Maybe that was it. Maybe.
Well, that's what I mean. Well,
Friday, Monday.
And by the way, T+3 was yesterday. So most hedge funds and most mutual funds closed their books yesterday. So Bingo. We're done. So, and again, it's not just because the 30th is the end of the month, that doesn't define the end of the month, typically, for the way the accounting works in most of these funds, because it's 3 days to clear stuff. So they want to clear it before the month ends, right?
Got it. Great nuance there.
So again, that's one thing most people don't understand, but so I always look at the T+3 more importantly, which was yesterday. So that may be the end. But we may also pull back in here. Microsoft, again, huge rally right into value, but this value zone, there's no way you're going to move through this. Like this selling was so huge. This is what people don't understand. Microsoft is so largely traded 10 million shares today, right? And it's down 2.5% or whatever it is, 2.3%. And that's after this huge run. I mean, it just went from the 240 level where it's settled all the way up here to 270. I mean, 269. Bob, that's monstrous. That's a 10% move in Microsoft. So yeah, all the sell orders got removed down in here finally, and then they took it up, and now they're back. They're back today in strength. I mean, when you see this type of selling, everybody's like, okay, that's it. Push them off again. So everybody's on the same trade, and they all think they can get out at the same time. If you're smart and you wrote it up, congratulations, but it's time to take profits. And I mean, the downside is nothing has changed in these short-term charts, Bob. Nothing has changed. So it's very difficult to be a new bear. Like if you have not been short for the last 6-7 months, I understand this is a very difficult market. But
patience talk about discipline. Thank you, Jason. The discipline required now in this market is it can't be overstated.
Yeah, but I would say that there's so many people that are trying to catch a bottom. It's almost better just to lean short right now. And you get a 10% rally like we just had in the Nasdaq. We were up 11% in a week. Why? Oh, because Biden said there's going to be another pandemic. Oh, that's good news.
The 100-year cycle, it seems, are we speeding up cycles because it's good business? I mean, it was damn good business, this pandemic, for lots of people. Not everybody.
How much scam? This is the thing. When will we find out how much of that $6 trillion was seriously never paid back, was a scam?
Or just straight up stolen. I mean, let's
straight up stolen, and the government doesn't even know where most of that money even went. Like, they couldn't even trace it. They don't. I mean, shit. They can't even get through the paper returns right now. I mean, I heard that again on terrestrial radio, that the IRS is behind like 12 million paper returns that they can't even get to from 2020. So I guess they're I mean, again.
Hey, Matt, the G7, is it still going on?
I don't know.
Anyway, the thing that I thought was the most glaring was how the little interaction between Macron and Biden, where he was telling him, why are you going to the Middle East? They have no more oil to pump.
Yeah.
Like this is on you. You got all the oil. Right. We actually have all the oil. We have all the excess capacity right now.
Yeah.
And we've decided not to tap it, which is, it's policy, Matt. It's not politics. It's policy. Policy has consequences. And now they don't know what to do about it. I saw a communique out of Japan saying they're rolling back their target of electrifying their vehicle fleet. I saw Elon say that maybe fully electric vehicle wasn't the greatest way to go, that maybe we should have considered alternative fuels and flex fuel and hybrid modeling in order to get us there. There's just
water, so you don't have to mine for lithium.
And it's a complicated system we humans develop, but for sure, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and crude still up another 1.5% today. 111.
Yeah, crude's flying. It was like 113.5. Yeah, it got up to 113.5, pulled back there right on the open. 109.50, and now it's back up another $2 again. Very bullish crude. Oxy, Occidental, Valero, all taking off. Marathon. We talked about all these refineries, and they're all, if you picked up on them last week, you've got 10, 15, 20% gains. Again, please make sure you book in those gains. Don't be a pig. That is what trading is all about. So if you were fortunate enough to catch some of these moves, please lock in the profits. Lock in the profits, Bobby.
Matt, you're trading again.
I am.
I can see it. Head down, trading again for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, Matt. Anything else? Anything else in the world? I know we got Wimbledon. I'm banning myself from watching.
Yeah, I'm pretty much.
And why is the Novak not able to play in the USO? You got to be jabbed to play in the US Open.
Probably.
I mean, you don't have to be jabbed to be into. It's New York, right? So
who knows? I don't know.
I mean, I just saw that. I haven't saw it on the news conference, and he said, "I'm not getting the jab. I don't care if I don't know if
that's a requirement, though. Is all I'm saying. I don't know.
Well, it was in yesterday's news conference, because why would they ask him? Will you get jabbed in order to play in the U.S. Open?
Right.
And he said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a major bird flying for Wimbledon this year, and I usually love watching. I mean, I like the grass court game, but hey. And that's my choice. And that's
what you haven't heard it. We haven't seen what's his name, the Federer, in quite a few years. Is he done, or
he's got grandkids, doesn't he? How could he still be?
They're all the same age. They're all old.
Where are the young?
Kind of like Congress. The three best tennis players in history are all playing at the same time, and they're all like 80 years old. I mean, they are. They're all like 35. That's old for tennis.
It certainly is.
Because I know how my body feels at 55.
All right, Matt. If nothing else, that's it then. That's that.
New highs, by the way, just hit on crude, 111.80s, and that's flying, Bob. And again, Huge rally. I mean,
it was a 0.5% in the last 2 minutes.
Just ripping. Must be policy talk going on again.
Hey, there it is. Lee, U.S. Open requires a shot to play because you're in an open court environment like they have there in Flushing Meadows.
Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Arthur Ashe Stadium. You could probably give your opponent COVID, especially if there's some good net play going on. You can't be too.
By the way, Jason Whitlock, tennis is good for your heart rate.
Yeah,
much better than the stair stepper. Like if you really want to stair step, just go climb buildings. That's real stair stepping. That's hard. That's a hard workout. Yeah. Or just go find yourself a 3,000 elevation foot rise like I did on Sunday, and my legs are still hurting 2 days later.
Jason, come on, it was good. Discipline, exercise, and not a drive-through for the week. No drive-throughs for the week. How about that? Exercise and discipline. All right, Matt. That's it. That's what we got. Please join us at marketvitals.io. Please share, retweet, plagiarize the broadcast. Please visit Amazon.com and buy some Shrimp Mojo.
Yeah.
And you got some on the way. I ordered it for you yesterday. Actually, I didn't. That's a lie. That's a straight up lie. I need your address because I have none on hand.
Oh my God.
I have none on hand.
I'll take your barbecue sauce. I got to cook some more chicken. So come on.
How good's the barbecue sauce, by the way?
I loved it. It's discipline. I'm staying disciplined.
Discipline. All right, Matt.
Only chicken and fish. Staying disciplined.
Matt, Home Depot down 3% today.
Ooh, like the rest of the market.
3%. What's Dick's down? What's Dick's down on 20% less people buying anything and everything? I don't know. That's it. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Matt.
This is down 2.5%. Yesterday hit 86, all the way down to 78. Not yesterday, but in the last couple days. Yes, yesterday. 2 days ago, Friday, we hit 86. All the way back down, right to the top of value. Here, that's a good, we talked about it yesterday, but let's talk about it. It went right to that top and rolling right over. Look at that. Right in the, pocket. Again, you can use your brother's old mitt this year.
Welcome to the Sandlot. You leave the mitt
that's how it was in the 70s when we got inflation. You weren't getting new stuff.
No chance. Not only
want
that,
a new wagon? You want a new wagon?
The radio flyer, forget about it. Matt, in fact,
want a big wheel?
In fact, how many
when I got on the big wheel and crashed, I think my dad stitched me up. We were, it was so expensive to go to the doctor in 1976.
Let's face it, you needed 9 mitts and you just left them at the position in the field. And if you were a lefty, you were trying to wear that righty glove backwards.
By the way, since we like talking about rallies and what you should do to them, speaking of jabs, all the jab, pandemic 2 talk out of Biden the last week really got Moderna ramped up. And I would say that this is a good sell. And I wish I would have said it yesterday when it was a great sell. But right up there to 149, now rolling back over here. And this is just a 15-minute chart, really looking at the last, 2 months or so, Bob, maybe a quarter. I mean, that's heavy. That's heavy lifting that it just did from 115 all the way up here to 150. Again, monster moves, 35 buck move on from the 115 low, and again running out of steam here. Hard to get bullish unless this thing kind of closes over 160. So there's your risk on that type of trade, and that's just this chart. And then above that, you got so many levels. Obviously, this thing goes from 500 all the way down to where it is. But again, I think at some point. I do. I've been saying this for almost 2 years. I think at some point the biggest fraud in corporate history is exposed, and that is all these jab companies.
Well, it was good business while it lasted.
Well, but I'm just saying it's
no, I agree.
Absolutely. I mean, if things can finally right themselves, I think this would be one of the biggest frauds, if not the biggest, that we've ever seen in public history.
Jab that.
And I've been saying it for 2 years, so it's not a new thing for me. But now other people are starting to say it, which is interesting. So it's starting to pick up a little.
Well, I know that
marble momentum, if you will. It's nothing big, but
well, here
I mean, I've got to believe, Bob. I've got to believe there are smart, aggressive lawyers out there right now filing cases, even though they have protection supposedly. But there's always a way around protection for these lawyers. There always is. Matt, nothing's bulletproof.
You've been saying it, and this was Steve Kirsch's newsletter. Risk benefit vaccines is negative according to paper. Here's what that's important: is these are people that are highly respected. Mm-hmm. Stanford, UCLA, and others. When those, and you can download the paper. Just go to this Steve Kirsch's newsletter here. It's on Substack, and you can download it and look for yourself because this is the team that Joe Fairman from Louisiana State University, Juan Erviti from Navarre Health Services, Mark Jones, Bond University, Sandra Greenland from UCLA, Patrick Wellen from University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA again, Stanford, Robert Kaplan, University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. This isn't me and you.
No.
At the backyard barbecue, telling you everything that we know about vaccine science and efficacy.
Right.
Of course, that will not make MSNBC this morning.
It will not. It does not go with the narratives. But it is as I like to say, it does not go with the narratives, but it's the truth.
Sometimes
that's my new line. It doesn't go with the narratives. It's the truth. You can interpret that however you would like, dear listener.
Dear listener, I think I'm going to write a song. Dear listener, kind of like Dear Prudence. All right, Matt. Thank you. Thank you, Lee.
Won't you come out to play?
Won't you please come out to play? Please join us. Marketvitals.io. That's the community. Please, please, please. Thank you, Matt.